As we have seen when describing net ionic equations, one kind of reaction that can occur is when two ions in solution join to form an ionic solid. When this happens, it is because the substance that forms is not water soluble, so it will crash out of solution as a precipitate. When this happens, a solid will suddenly form, seemingly out of nowhere, within a reaction flask full of liquid. A reaction in which a precipitate forms is called a precipitation reaction. Since these substances form solids because they are not water soluble, we need to understand a few things about solubility rules so that we can predict which substances will be water soluble and which will be water insoluble. A table like this is a good thing to refer to when trying to predict how ions will interact with one another. And to see whether a precipitate will form, we simply need to see if it meets any of these criteria. For example, let's say we react potassium iodide and lead nitrate in aqueous solution. These substances will dissolve in water, and if they were to undergo a double displacement reaction, or one in which the ions swap partners, so to speak, the products would be lead iodide and potassium nitrate. Let's check and see if either of these products might be water insoluble. Well, it looks like nitrates are water soluble, and potassium is not one of the exceptions to this rule. So potassium nitrate will be water soluble and therefore remain an aqueous species. Halides also tend to be aqueous, but lead is listed as one of the exceptions. So lead iodide will be water insoluble and will therefore form a precipitate. Going back to our chemical equation, that means potassium nitrate will be listed as aqueous, but lead iodide will be listed as a solid since it is insoluble. If we wanted to describe this situation with a net ionic equation, the potassium ions and nitrate ions are spectator ions, so it would therefore simply list lead ions and iodide ions coming together to form lead iodide. Once again, to see if a precipitate will form, we just need to see if there are any possible combinations of cation and anion that will result in an insoluble compound.